2 weeks ago, I showed you how I made these market stalls, and last week I showed you the process for making a few of the items that are stored inside. Today we're going to continue that process with a few more of the market stall wares. Alright, we're going to start things off with some vegetables and fruit boxes. So to start things off, we're going to use a popsicle stick or craft stick that you can get at the Dollar Tree. These are nice. You can get a pack of 100 of them for $1.25, and you can make a bunch of different things with them. So I'm starting off by cutting it at a 1/2 inch in length, and then that's going to be the bottom of the produce box. Then using some coffee stirrer sticks, we're going to cut 4 of these to a 1/2 inch in length, and that's going to make the side frame. Then using some tacky glue, I'm going to stick the side pieces of the box to the bottom and just kind of hold it in place until the glue sticks. Then using a toothpick, I can apply a little bit more glue to the other sections and repeat the process until I've got a full box. So I made up 4 of these little boxes, and using some skeleton horde from Citadel Paints, I'm going to stain all of the wood on the boxes to kind of give it a little bit more of a darker color. Now the skeleton horde works nice for this because it'll stain the wood and darken it, but it'll still kind of keep that natural look and appearance and accentuate any of the wood grain on the pieces. Okay, so now to make the produce for the boxes, we're going to use these. These are like aquarium filler or floral filler. I found these at Michael's. You can also probably find them in pet stores in the aquarium section. They've got these nice little tufts of foliage, and they look reasonably passable as actual plant fibers. So using a pair of scissors, I'm just snipping off a few small sections of the tufts, just kind of snipping them off at the stem to create little pieces of plant matter. Alright, so I got a couple little piles, and we're going to start with some kind of like a leafy, lettucey thing. We're going to just fill the bottom of the little box with some tacky glue, and then I'm using a pair of tweezers. You can use your fingers as well. This just gives me a little bit more control over where everything kind of sticks. I'm just taking one tuft at a time and sticking it into the box, and I'm just going to keep going until it's reasonably filled. I do this basically until you can't see the tacky glue. Alright, so once it's stuffed reasonably full of little lettucey produce things, we're going to call that good, set it aside, and let it dry. And then we're going to repeat the process with these other pieces over here. These I'm going to call some kind of like vine plant that maybe people grow as produce. Maybe it's some kind of weird pod vegetable thing. The nice thing about a fantasy world is that it's fantasy, so you can describe things however you want to describe them. Okay, so now let's make a box of berries. Now, these I got at Michael's. They're kind of like some fake floral plant. We're just going to take a chunk off of this, and it looks pretty passable as some kind of like, mound of fruit or berries or something like that. So, again, we're going to fill the bottom of the box with some tacky glue just to kind of help hold everything in place. And I tore the little cluster up into smaller pieces, and we're just going to kind of fit them into position and kind of trim it to fit the box and make it look nice. There we go. Nice and simple. So now using a stem from a larger cluster, we're going to cut off a couple of small pieces, and these are going to be like large apple kind of things, or some large fruit, maybe plums or something like that. Again, fantasy world, you can describe them or explain them however you want. You could even paint these if you wanted them a more traditional fruit color. Alright, so now we're going to make some bundles of rope for our general store. So I like to use a pair of paint brushes to kind of help make a little instant jig, and then using a binder clip, I just kind of clip one end of the string in place, and then just kind of wind it back and forth to kind of wrap it into that, reasonably traditional rope bundle shape. Leave a little bit left over, and then very carefully remove one of the paint brushes, and then just kind of wrap the string around the center, and then I'll super glue it in place to make sure it doesn't unravel. Now I'm doing this as kind of like a quick, simple thing, like the merchant has bundled it up and left it on the table. You can also do this, just kind of wrap it around your finger and then glue it in place to keep it from unraveling, and then you've got a round little binding of rope as well. So you can do a lot with this. This is just some natural colored string that I found at Michael's for $5. It was a spool of like 15, 20 yards or something like that. Really cheap, nice to have on hand. Okay, so now for our weapons merchants. So I bought a pack of Legos off of Amazon, just some assorted weapons and things like that. So we'll pick out a few of these to paint up and get ready to be part of our merchant display. I want a decent kind of little random spread, so we're going to take a couple of daggers, a couple swords, and there's an axe, and I think, yeah, we're also going to grab that mace off camera. Okay, so I primed these with a metallic aluminum spray paint, and then once they dried, we're going to start with some snakebite leather to paint all of the handle wraps. These will have a little bit of a metallic shimmer to them, but that's not really noticeable, and you only really notice it if you're really, really up close, and most people aren't gonna pick up a thing and hold it 2 inches from their face. So while that's drying, we're going to use some wildwood and paint the wooden shafts of any of the spears and axes. And again, these will have a slight metallic sheen to them, but again, also not really that big of a deal. So now we're going to use a little bit of Retributor armor to paint some of the pommels and a few of the little details on some of the pieces. This will just give a little bit of extra definition and a little bit of detail flair. And then to finish things off, we're going to use a little bit of null oil to kind of give a little bit of shadow and definition to the blades and, the mace hammer head here. I'm going a little heavy with this because I kind of want the deeper recessed areas to really pop. But you can go as light or as heavy as you want. And you don't even need to use null oil. You can use more earthy wash if you want them to be kind of tarnished or worn from wear and weather. Alright, and here we go with a quick scenic setup of our various products laid out on a few tables. This is a really nice and easy way to kind of add some extra filler to a scene and kind of help flush things out. So thank you all for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for future content, comment in the comments sections, and we will see everyone next episode.